Kashmir is under occupation by India, and India got its inspiration from Israel's occupation of Palestine. The only difference is until recently, India did a better job of hiding its colonial occupation and war crimes from the world. I bet you didn't know there are actually hundreds of Indians that are directly complicit in Israel's occupation of Palestine, working directly with the IDF and picking up a few tricks of the trade of occupation and genocide along the way. Tips and tricks that they then brought back to India to use against the Kashmiri population. And if you don't believe me, let's take a look at some receipts. Here is a right-wing Indian political commentator calling for an Israel-like solution in Kashmir, using the same age-old Israeli lines of securing their borders and fighting terror, with a nice little additive about settlement building thrown in there. That's also not the first time that they floated settlement building, because here in 2019, India's Consul General in New York City floated the idea of building illegal settlements in Kashmir right after India removed its autonomous status. Here's a more recent one of the Stop Hindu Hate Advocacy Network calling for Kashmir to be flattened like Gaza. And another recent one of an Indian columnist saying that the solution to the Kashmiri terrorism problem is the destruction of Pakistan. And there are so many more examples, like the right-wing YouTuber who said that April 22nd is to India what October 7th is to Israel. If you don't want to be compared to the genocider state, maybe don't act like or take inspiration from the genocider state. And as always, free Kashmir.
Calling Kashmir an illegal occupation by India like Israel-Palestine is an oversimplification that ignores documented history and international context. In 1947, during the partition of British India, Jammu and Kashmir was a princely state, not directly part of either India or Pakistan. Its ruler, Maharaja Hari Singh, acceded to India by signing the Instrument of Accession on October 26, 1947. This was the same legal mechanism used by over 560 princely states, making it a recognized and lawful process under the framework of decolonization. The conflict escalated when tribal militias from Pakistan's side, supported by elements within Pakistan, entered Kashmir in 1947, triggering the First Indo-Pak War. India then approached the United Nations Security Council, which passed UN Security Council Resolution 47. This resolution proposed a plebiscite, but only after Pakistan withdrew its forces and irregular fighters, followed by a phased reduction of Indian forces. These preconditions were never fully met, which is why the plebiscite was never conducted. Today, Kashmir remains divided between India, Pakistan, and China. Pakistan administers areas known as Azad Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan, while China controls Aksai Chin, factors often overlooked in one-sided narratives. If the situation is framed purely as occupation, then all sides must be assessed consistently. Further, through the Simla Agreement, both India and Pakistan agreed to resolve the issue bilaterally, limiting third-party intervention. This agreement continues to shape the diplomatic framework around the dispute. Unlike the Israel-Palestine conflict, which has a different historical and legal background involving mandates and UN partition plans, Kashmir's situation originates from princely state accession during the end of British rule. These are fundamentally different contexts, and equating them without nuance leads to misinformation. None of this denies that Kashmir is a sensitive and contested region with real political and humanitarian concerns. However, reducing it to a simplistic claim of illegal occupation ignores the legal accession, UN conditions, and decades of bilateral agreements that define the issue. Any serious discussion should consider the full historical and legal context, not selective comparisons.